Hello everyone, myself Dr. Savina JP from TTT Academy. ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಪ್ಲೊಮಾ CET ನಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಆಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇವೊಂದು ಐ ವಿಶ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. So very first in this content ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, addition and subtraction of scalar vectors, scalar addition and subtraction, as well as scalar multiplication of vectors, magnitude of vectors, ಇವಿಷ್ಟು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಥಿಯರಿಟಿಕಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಇವೊಂದು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನಲ್ನ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಅವರ್ ಚಾನಲ್. ಇದೇ ಥರ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳು ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇರೋಂಥದ್ದು ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ. ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್, what do you mean by vectors? So vectors nothing but any physical quantity which has both magnitude and directions. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿಬೋದು ನಾವು, we can call it as vector quantity. See, with the definitions, I'll proceed with that. The physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction. See, what do you mean by magnitude? Magnitude which defines size of the vectors. ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದೆ, what is the value of that vector, that we are actually expressed by magnitude. And directions, that means that any physical quantity which is moving from one position to another position with respect to a specific, in a specific directions ಆಗೋದು one point ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, that is directions. So arrow line which represents the direction. Arrow line which represents the direction. See, here I am going to consider, suppose this is a point. In this point you can consider one stone. It may move from initial A another point to B. That means I am specifying that it is a vector from A point to B point. That means 2 means that is directed from A to B, where A is the initial point and B is a end point, a terminal point. That means this I can call it as AB, and it has a direction towards B. So this arrow line which represents the direction. Now we can call it as this is AB vector. This AB vector and also usually we can consider as call it as A vector also, with the initial point A, with the initial point A. See, observe here to here it may be 10 centimeter. It may be 10 centimeter. This is a distance. This 10 centimeter which express magnitude of vector. ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ 10 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್, ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ the physical quantity which has both magnitude and directions. This we are usually going to represent by directed segment line. Suppose here can call it as A, where A is a vector. That means if you are going to write over that directed segment line ide anta andre which representing vector. So next, dear students, some important agi nanu one more example na ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. Suppose here is a point P and it is a point Q. If you are going to consider PQ may be 100 centimeter. This is what P in the Q ಗೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ distance. That is I am going to consider as 100 centimeter. This 100 centimeter is a magnitude. And where from P to Q, if you are going to represent by a directed segment line, now this is we can consider as vector PQ. You can call it as vector PQ. This 100 centimeter which expresses the value, that means magnitude, and from P point to Q point which express the directions, P to Q, P to Q. Now suppose this magnitude, I am telling that magnitude. So magnitude of vector we are going to represent by two vertical lines. So even that, suppose here PQ is a vector, its magnitude is we are going to write in this way, PQ magnitude. You have to write in this structure. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಬರೀತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. So that is what vectors representation. One more example for you, like A is the initial point. Let me consider B is a terminal point, end point. It moved from A to B. Again, this you can call it as AB vector, or also we can represent as A vector with respect to position point A. So the reason A vector anta karidini ashtane. That means suppose magnitude ಹೇಗೆ express ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, that is by two vertical lines, that is AB vector magnitude. This you have to read as AB vector magnitude. This is what simple representation. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೇಜರ್ ಆಗಿ what about A is a initial point, and what about B, where B is a terminal, I mean are also going to called as end point, terminal point or end point. That is AB vector and its magnitude in that initial point and terminal point. This is what representation and basics concept with respect to a vector. Next, dear students, types of vectors. So in the vectors we can express many types. Especially in a basically I'm going to consider important ಆಗಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲಿ zero vectors as well as unit vectors consideration ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. So what do you mean by zero vector? So I told that vectors means which has both magnitude and directions. Suppose if it is the magnitude of vector is 0, if it is 0, that type of vector is going to called as zero vector. If magnitude of vector is unity, that is going to called as unit vector. That means unity means 1. So 1 idre anta helidre, that is unit vector. That type of vector is going to called as unit vectors. So first of all, here unit vectors, zero vector. First one, let's consider as zero vector. The vector whose magnitude is 0. Such type of vector is going to called as zero vector. Suppose here A is a initial point. Let me consider one example. Here is a initial point and it may move to another point B. It move from A to B means that has some distance, that has some value, ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಎ ಇಂದ ಬಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ. ದೆನ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಝೀರೋ ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ? ನಾಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಈಗ ಸಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ. That means that if it is where A is a first initial point and terminal point also should be there itself. If it is A only a terminal point, A, because there is no moment. If there is no moment means no distance. So magnitude will be 0. So the reason this is be a zero vector. Now this is not a zero vector because A in the B movement agidana some value is there. So A vector comma B vector, B vector. B is the initial point and B is a terminal point. So the reason that is, so enanta bariyana illi, here the magnitude of A vector equal to 0. Such type of vector you can call it as zero vector. Next one, unit vector. Second type I'm going to consider with unit vector. What do you mean by unit vector? The vector whose magnitude is unity. Unity means 1. So dear students, this unit vector representing by this is expressing, ಹೇಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಬೈ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, by cap. That means suppose A is a vector, ಇದೊಂದು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, where because that is what I expressed in a directed segment line, then A cap represents unit vector. A cap ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ that express unit vectors express ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. See dear students, for this unit vectors we can express ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವೇನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that has a standard formula. The unit vector, I mean A cap will be equal to A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. So in a standard way, unit vector, that is A cap, will be equal to A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. This is what a representation of magnitude. So A vector divided by magnitude of A vector, which express the unit vectors. Unit vectors we ಒಂದು representation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು. Suppose ಇಲ್ಲಿ dear friends, suppose ನಾನು ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ B is a vector. B vector ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ what is the unit vector of B? Suppose another example here I am writing where B is a vector, then B cap means the unit vectors of B will be equal to B vector divided by magnitude of B vector. This is the standard formula we can consider. So this is with respect to unit vector and zero vector. Next, I'm going to proceed with another very important one with respect to vector topic, that is position vector. ಏನು ಸರ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಎನಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಇಫ್ ಮೂವ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಗೆ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ದಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕಾಲ್ ಆಸ್ P. If you want to express any point over the Cartesian plane means ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಟೇಷಿಯನ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ there should be having a axis coordinate values like x coordinate value, y coordinate value, maybe z coordinate value. Suppose here is a point. This point I am going to consider axis here, that is Cartesian plane x axis and y axis. This point value may be 3, 4. Let me assume 3, 4. This 3, 4 which express x coordinate value and y coordinate value. Suppose here to here some value is there, that is x coordinate value, and here to here some value is there, that is y coordinate value, x coordinate value and y coordinate value. If you join P point from origin, that origin point is O. O ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ನೀವು P ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that is O to P. Now I can call it as OP vector. This P is a point, that position we are going to represent by using origin point O. Then OP is a position vector. See here, P is a point, then OP OP vector express the position vector, position vector. That is what a very important concept here. Clear? So now suppose here dear students, in x what is the value? 3 is just for an example, 3 is a value. That is in a y direction yesterday 4 unit. It means that in x direction 3 units, in y direction 4 units. This express the unit values with respect to the direction. So this value I am going to represent by I cap. I unit. Let me consider I unit. This is I am going to consider as J unit. So this by the system of that we can consider, that is OP vector will be equal to yesterday x ಇದೆ, so x I unit plus in next ಇದೆ, this is the y direction le y J unit. Suppose ನೀವು ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ 3, 4 ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ for point of ಏನಿದೆ 3, 4. Then OP vector ಏನಾಯಿತು, where OP means that is position vector from O point to P point. So then OP vector equal to x is 3, y is 4. So 3 I cap plus 4 J cap, that is expression. Suppose ನೀವು one more question ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, if it is a 3-dimensional point ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ? 3-dimensional vector ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, in that x I cap, y j cap plus z k cap. Suppose one more example just for an your clear picture ಗೋಸ್ಕರ, A is a point of x, y, z. This is a 3-dimensional body, a 3-dimensional point. Then OA vector is a position vector. OA vector is a position vector. Then ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. This is a position vector. Okay, so this is what we can by this way we are going to represent position vectors. Next, dear students, if you have two vectors, suppose see, observe here is a point and this is another point. Let me consider here is another point, maybe here is P, this is I am going to call it Q. ನೋಡಿ ಇವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕೂಡ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? Then this is becomes PQ vector. If you want to find position vector of PQ or position vector of AB, A is a point, B is a point, ಆ ಥರ ಬಂದಾಗ then that we can discuss here, that is position vector of AB, where A is a one point, B is a another point or end point or terminal point. So now Dear students, here is a point A, and I'm going to consider one more point somewhere here. Let me consider that is B. The A point may be x, y, z. There are 3 coordinate values, and y also may be x, y, z. X, y, z. So here is a A point. Let me consider 1, 1, 1. Here is a B point 2, 2, 2. That is second point. If you are going to join these two, that is AB. Now this with respect to the Cartesian plane, x coordinate value and y direction, x direction and y direction. If you join here to here, ಇಲ್ಲಿ join ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? This is a from O point in the, this is a OA vector. The position vector, point P position from O is OA vector. Point B position from, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾನು ಲೈನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that become a OB vector. OB vector. But what is my aim? My aim is to find AB vector here. Then how to find this AB vector? No, that's very simple. Now, what about A? A is a point. OA is a position vector of point A. So, OA vector na ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, then what is the coordinates values here? x1, y1, z1. So, x1 I cap plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap. Similarly, second point is B, then its position vector is OB vector. Then OB vector equal to x2 y2 z2. So x2 I cap plus y2 j cap plus z2 k cap. That is OA vector and OB vector. Now our aim is to find AB vector, A to B, that is you can call it as AB vector. That is what position of vectors of AB. Now AB vector equal to, in that what is A, what is B? Where A is the initial point and B is the terminal point in the AB vector. So nothing but we have to solve this way. Second vector position vector minus first position vector ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. That means ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ AB vector equal to, what is the second minus first? Second ಯಾವುದಿದೆ? B point. First is A point. That means x A O B vector minus O A vector. This is the standard structure we need to use to write position vector. Suppose one more here, AB vector ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ? That means you can write OB vector minus OA vector. That's all. This is the standard structure. Suppose, no, dear students, one more consider ಮಾಡೋಣ. Suppose P is a point and Q is another point. If you want to write PQ vector, then how to write this? Where P is the initial point, Q is a terminal point or end point. Now this can be considered first point in a position, OP. Second point position is OQ. So OQ vector minus OP vector. See, second position vector minus first position vector. In this way, we can write any vectors. So this is going to consider as position vectors of AB or PQ or any two vectors, position vectors ನಾವು represent ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Next important thing, scalar addition and subtraction of vectors. Suppose, let me consider A is a vector and B is a vector. If we have two vectors, A vector and B vector, if you want to add it, add means addition, direct scalar addition. Suppose, let me consider one example where A is a vector of 3i plus 2j plus 4k. This is A vector. This A vector I am going to write in the form of A vector equal to, ಇದೇನಿದೆ A ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋಂಥ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗೆ ನಾನು A1 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ for my representation, easy way. A1 I cap plus A2 J cap plus A3 K cap. What is the reason? No, A1, A2, A3 are the unit values with respect to X, Y and Z direction. So instead of these values, usually values ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ ಆನ್ ನೋಟೇಷನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ ನಾನು A1, A2, A3 ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಸಪೋಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ instead of this A vector ಏನಂತ ತಗೋಣ, let me consider A vector equal to A1 I cap plus A2 J cap plus A3 K cap, and another point that is B vector equal to, Again similarly b1 I cap plus b2 j cap plus b3 k cap. Now scalar addition or subtractions means, what do you mean by scalar addition and subtraction? That means directly we are going to adding or subtracting, nothing but a vector plus b vector. That is what scalar addition. That means here is a vector plus b vector, that's all. What is a vector here? a1 I cap, a1 I cap, next plus a2 j cap plus a3 k cap. Come to here, that is b1 I cap plus b2 j cap plus b3 k cap. Now if you are going to add means a1 with b1, a2 with b2, a3 with b3. That is what a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 b3. In the same structure is supposed to follow. That means ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ a1 b1, so a1 plus b1 of I cap, next plus ಇದೆ plus, next a2 plus b2 j cap plus a3 plus b3 k cap. This is what your addition procedure. It's simple, dear students, that unit values we need to directly add with respect to I, j, k. That's all. Next, suppose if you want to subtract means, that is a vector minus b vector. Instead of adding here, we need to remove, that means subtract. You have to subtract that. How to subtract then? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು a1 minus b1 I cap, next plus a2 minus b2 j cap plus a3 minus b3 k cap. So this is the standard way of subtraction of scalar vectors. I mean scalar subtraction of vectors. Yes, this is a procedure ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ಪೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Next, very important, scalar multiplication. What do you mean by scalar multiplication? It's simple. Scalar multiplication is nothing but the constant term or constant value. I mean scalar value is multiplying to the vectors. So nothing but consider k is a constant. K is a constant. K another ಒಂದು constant value. It may be value 2, 3, 5, minus 1, 6, any value. That is a constant value. And a is a constant. And a is a constant. A another ಒಂದು constant. Then k into a vector is a procedure. I mean this express the is a scalar multiplication, meaning scalar multiplication, scalar multiplication. So nothing but, dear students, suppose let me consider where a is a 3i plus 2j minus 3k and constant k equal to 2. Let me consider k equal to 2. Then k a vector is dash ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋಣ ಅಂತ assume ಮಾಡೋಣ. K vector means what? That is k into a vector. What is k here? Where k is 2. So 2 into a vector. This 2 is a constant, keep it same. What about a? Where a is this vector? This is what? A vector, right? This is a vector. That means 3 I cap plus 2 j cap minus 3 k cap. What is the procedure here? No. This 2 we need to multiply to this one once, this one once, this one once. That's all. If you multiply in that manner, 2 into 3, that is 6i. 2 into 3, that is 6i cap plus 2 into 2, nothing but 4j cap plus 2 into minus 3. The minus is the minus. 2 3s are 6k cap. This is what a standard procedure of scalar multiplication of vectors. I mean any constant, given constant value that we are going to multiply into all unit values. That's all. That is scalar multiplication. Next, very important, magnitude of vectors. So the vectors we are going to represent by directed segment line. Suppose a is a vector. Let me consider here x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. This is a vector. If this is an a vector, what about this magnitude? This magnitude we are going to represent by magnitude. How to represent the magnitude? Magnitude of a vector is, we are going to write in this way, right? This is the magnitude of a vector. Now this can be expressed, we have a standard formula. The magnitude of a vector equal to standard square root of this constant, that means x is there, so x square, here is y plus y square plus here is z, so z square. This is the standard representation, formula to find magnitude of any given vectors. So I, j, k unit values in the direction of x, y and z, ಅದನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು square root of that x square plus y square plus z square. By using this we can find magnitude of vectors. For this I am going to consider one example for you. Suppose a is a vector. See, a is a vector. Then magnitude of a vector is dash. Suppose a vector equal to 3 I cap minus 2 j cap plus k cap. Then a vector magnitude is dash. Magnitude, how to represent the magnitude? That is standard formula, square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Now what do you mean by x? X means what here? That is 3. So square root of 3 square plus, what do you mean by y? Y is minus 2. So minus 2 whole square plus z. How many k here? Only 1. So 1 square. So finally square root of 3 square means 3 into 3, that is 9 plus 3 square means 3 into 3. So 3 into 3, 9. Next, minus 2 whole square. Minus 2 whole square means minus 2 into minus 2. Minus 2 into minus 2. Minus into minus plus 2 2s are 4. It means that 4 here. Next, 1 square is 1. So finally square root of 14. Square root of 14 is a magnitude of a vector. It's simple. Just this constant, this unit constant, that square root of ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. That is a simple way. That is magnitude of vectors. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲದೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲದೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರೋಂಥದ್ದು ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಈವನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಬೈ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, which is available in Flipkart, Amazon, even our TTT Academy website ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇಫ್ ನಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ನಂಬರ್. ಈ ನಂಬರ್ನೇ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಬುಕ್ ಬೇಕಾದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊರಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ಯು ಆಲ್. And even though I wish to discuss a few more questions based on this topic. So if A is a vector and B is not a vector, here is a point given where A is a point, B is another point. Let me consider where A is a point and B is somewhere another point somewhere here. What about A point? 1, 2, 1. What about B point? 3, minus 5, 2. A another point to B another point. If you join this is, you'll get AB vector. That is the concept. What is the question here? If A is a vector, B is a vector, find position of AB vector. That means we need to find this AB vector. I guess before that I explained clearly. What do you mean by AB vector? AB vector means second vector minus first vector. Suppose AB vector equal to its position vector. A point in a position vector ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? OA vector. B point position is OB vector. So second minus first, that means OB vector minus OA vector. What is second point? This I can express as 3 I cap, ಇಲ್ಲಿ minus ಇದೆ, so minus J cap plus 2 K cap. If you come into here, this will be 1 I cap plus 2 J cap plus 1 K cap. I, J, K, 1 to 1, 1 to 1. See, now second minus first, this vector minus this vector, then it will becomes 3 I cap minus 5 J cap plus 2 K cap minus first one, 1 I cap plus 2 J cap plus 1 K cap. This is like a scalar subtraction of vectors. Scalar subtraction. How to do the scalar subtraction? I with I, j with j, k with k. Nothing but 3i minus, here minus 2 1i. 3i minus 1i. Nothing but 2i. So 2i. Next, minus 5j. Here is plus into minus, minus 2j. Minus 5j minus 2j. Minus 7. If it is both are negative, you need to add it, but minus sign only. So minus 7j. Next is plus 2k, plus into minus, minus 1k. 2k minus 1k. 2 nalli 1 tagidre 1. So plus 1k cap. Ijk we can express in this cap system. So AB vector equal to this is what your simple structure. ಸೊ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬರೆದಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಐ ಗೆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ನೋ ದಿಸ್ ಮಚ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನಫ್. ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ one more question here. Again, AB vector, A vector plus B vector magnitude is dash. Here also you can observe here, A is a point position given, B position given. A vector position means, that means A vector in a scalar addition ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. ಸೊ A vector and B vectors ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ IJK. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ IJK ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಹಿಯರ್ A vector plus B vector, that we need to find first. After once you know the A vector plus B vector, ನಾವು ಅದರ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ತೆಗಿಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ A vector here? That is 2, 1, minus 1. Central ಏನಿದೆ plus, so plus. What about B vector? ಇದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಅಡಿಷನ್. ಸೊ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. What about B vector? 1, minus 2, 1 given in your question. So how to add this is, I told you, no, scalar means that respective position, that one with that position ಅಷ್ಟೇ. 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus or into minus, plus into minus, minus ಅಂದರೆ 1 minus 2 ಆಯ್ತು. What is 1 minus 2? That is minus 1, ಇಲ್ಲೇನಿದೆ minus 1, here is plus of 1 ಅಂದರೆ minus 1 plus 1, that is 0. So that will be, we need to consider 0 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ 0. So minus 1 plus 1 is 0. So this is A vector plus B vector. This is the point ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. If you want to write same with respect to the vectors means that I can express as 3i cap minus 1 j cap, next plus 0 k cap. 0 k cap no need to write. Next, what is the here? Magnitude. Magnitude is nothing but A vector plus B vector magnitude. It means that we are going to express like x square plus y square plus z square. So what do you mean by x? This is x, this is y, this is z. That means 3 square plus of y means minus 1 that whole square plus z means 0 square. So finally square root of 3 square. What about 3 square? That is 9 plus minus 1 whole square, minus 1 into minus 1, nothing but plus 1, 0 square is 0. So finally square root of 10. The square root of 10 is a magnitude of A vector plus B vector. See, you can observe here D is a right option. D is a right options. And next we'll proceed with another vector, that is example. Another example is the unit vector of A vector is dash. So I guess while I'm starting this video, I explained clearly what do you mean by unit vector. The unit vector we are going to represent by cap system. That means cap system ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ A cap equal to A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. So the standard formula here, that is A vector equal to, A cap equal to the unit vector we are going to represent by cap. So A cap equal to A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. That is the unit vector. So unit vector ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ represent ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, unit vector that we are going to represent by cap system. So A cap ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು represent ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. So A cap equal to A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. Then A vector ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೆ. Then what about A magnitude? So we need to find magnitude first. So A vector magnitude equal to, what is the standard formula? square root of x square plus y square plus z square. This is x, this is y, this is z. So what about x? Here is 5. So 5 square plus what about y? That is minus 1. So minus 1 whole square plus z means 2. So 2 square. So finally this becomes 5 square is 25 plus minus 1 whole square means minus 1 into minus 1, that become plus 1. 2 square is 4. So finally square root of 24, 30. It's fine. So therefore that is the magnitude of a vector is 30, square root of 30. Then a cap equal to a vector 5i minus j plus 2k whole divided by square root of 30. That is what your final answer. So by this way we can find unit vectors. Next, see dear students, these are our top rank holders in the year of 2021 DCET. So he is secured 6th rank, and second he secured 9th rank from mechanical department, 14th rank, 17th rank, 23rd rank. This is what our achievement, and last year we provided this rank by the proper structure of class. Even though this year also we planned from this 16th crash course na plan ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. So suppose if you are really interested you can contact us. And few more previous year questions na solve ಮಾಡೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮುಂದೆ next. So previous year questions ಅಲ್ಲಿ starts from, if you are going to consider in the year of 2019, there is a question, just you can observe here. It's similar to AB vector. What do you mean by AB vector? That means position vectors. Here, if A is a vector, B is a vector, and A is a one position point, B is a position point, then AB vector is dash. Is similarly previous one. Here A is a point. What is the point here? 1, 2, minus 3. And B is another point. The point is 2, 0, minus 1. If you join this is, then it becomes AB. A in the B, that is what directed. AB vector. Then this I can call as, that position is OA vector. This position is OB vector. Now I have OA vector and OB vector. That is position is given. I want to find AB. So AB vector will be equal to second minus first, OB vector minus OA vector. So what is second minus first means? This is E point, so minus this point. ಹಾಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ 2, 0, minus 1 minus OA means 1, 2, minus 3. So let me consider this respective values. 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Next 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2 is minus 2, minus 1, minus into ನೋಡಿ ಇವೆರಡು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ? ಮೈನಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಮೈನಸ್, ಮೈನಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಮೈನಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್, ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 3, ಇವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದು, ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 3, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎ ಬಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ? ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಐ ಜೆ ಕೆ. ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಐ ಜೆ ಕೆ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ 1 ಐ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ minus 2 j cap, next plus 2 k cap. Then which is the right option here? So you can observe here with respect to this 1 i cap, I cap minus 2 j cap plus 2 k cap. So A is a right option. See, this is a question they asked in DCET 2019. 2019 ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇಳಿರುವಂತಹ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ 20ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ 2020 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ unit vector in the direction of a vector. Yeah, what is a unit vector? That we are going to represent by cap system. So a cap equal to a vector divided by magnitude of a vector. Then how to write the magnitude? A vector magnitude equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So square root of what is x? See, this is what your A vector, x, y, z. That means x is 3, so 3 square plus y is 4, so 4 square plus z is minus 2, so minus 2 whole square. Then it becomes square root of 3 square is 9 plus 4 square means 4 into 4, 16 plus minus 2 square. Minus 2 square means minus 2 into minus 2, that is plus 4. So finally square root of 16 plus 4, 20, 5, 29. So 29 is a magnitude of A vector. Then what is the question here? The unit vector in the direction of A vector is, the unit vector in the direction of A vector is A vector divided by magnitude of A vector. Then what is A vector? 3i cap plus 4j cap minus 2k cap. This is what question alli kotiruvantadu. Whole divided by square root of 29, that is magnitude. This is what your option. With respect to this, by observing where B is a right option. ನೋಡೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ B ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ರೈಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಐ ಗೆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ಯು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಅಗೇನ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ ಆಫ್ 2021, 2021 ಕೇಳಿರುವಂಥ ಕ್ವಶನ್ನು. ಇಫ್ ಎ ಇಸ್ ಎ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಬಿ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಅನದರ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್, ದೆನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆಫ್ 2a ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 3b ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆರ್ 2a ವೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ 2a ವೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನು ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ? 3b ವೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ 2 into what is a vector is given here. See, a vector is given here, that is I plus j minus k. This is the constant, that means scalar multiplication. 2 ನ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 2 into I, that is 2i. 2 into j, that is plus 2j. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಮೈನಸ್ 2 into k, that is 2k. ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ 3b vector. So 3 into b vector, 3 times of whatever b, that is 2i vector minus I cap minus 5j cap plus 3k cap. Finally 3 into 2, that is 6i. 3 into minus j minus 3j. 3 into 3, nothing but 9k. This is 2a vector and 3b vector. ಇವೆರಡು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. But the question here is 2a vector plus 3b vector. So 2a vector plus 3b vector equal to same structure consider ಮಾಡಿ add ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. That is 2i cap plus 2j cap minus 2k cap plus 3b vector is 6i minus 3j plus 9k. If you add it directly ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? We'll get 2i plus 6i, nothing but 8i. Next, plus 2j minus 3j, nothing but minus 1j. Plus not plus, then you'll get here will be minus 1j. I mean 2j minus 3j means minus 1j. Here minus 2k plus 9k, nothing but plus 7k. This is what your 2a vector plus 3b vector. But the question is magnitude. So magnitude of 2a vector plus 3b vector equal to, what is the standard formula? Square root of x square plus y square plus z square. This is the standard way we are going to use to find magnitude. Then square root of, what do you put x? This is x, y, z. That means 8 square plus of minus 1 whole square plus of 7 square. Nothing but square root of, what do you put 8 square? 64 plus minus 1 square is 1 plus 7 square is 49. So finally here I am writing, that is ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? That equal to 64 plus 1, 65 plus 49, that is 114. So therefore square root of 114, that is what your final answer. If you add these three, you'll get 114. So square root of 114, nothing but, see, square root of 114 here. So A is a right options. So ಈ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 2019, 20, 21 ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಎರಡು ವೇನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಫ್ರೀ ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ನ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವಿಶ್ ಟು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಮಾಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಗಿವನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಬಿಲೋ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿರುವಂಥ ನಂಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ಸಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಫ್ ಯಾರು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಬುಕ್ಸು ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ತೊಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ ವೀಡಿಯೋಸ್. ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಡೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಡೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದೇ ಥರ ವೀಡಿಯೋಸ್ಗಳು ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಅವರ್ ಚಾನಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಸ್, ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ವ್ಯೂ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್. ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್.